I've decided that Kevin's next wife, this girl,
What?
I couldn't believe my ears.
Next wife? What exactly do you mean?
When she asked me that, my mother was annoyed.
you really are slow, aren't you? In other words, we don't need your help. Your time is up. I don't expect you'll be able to have children anymore, will you? That's why this young lady is going to be a son's new wife.
My name is Mary, and I'm a 34-year-old worker. I have a husband named Kevin. I met him on a blind date, and he's younger than I. So, naturally, I thought he wouldn't be interested. However, at the time, Kevin said, "I've fallen in love with you. I don't care about our age difference." And he was very expressive about his feelings. I fell in love with his passion and to go out with him. From then on, we had a steady relationship and we eventually got married. However, the process of getting married is a bit difficult. We went to see each other's parents away, but his mother, Barbara, was against marriage because of their age difference.
Normally, a 34-year-old woman would already be married and have children. Is there something wrong with you? Why are you still single?
What are you talking about, Mom? Don't be rude.
Oh, but it's important to talk about like this. You're our only child and you have who you marry carefully.
She spoke about my age and how I've single for so long. And all these things that I'm concerned about, I'm not worried about them anymore because of you. Then her husband, George, steps in. Kevin chose her, so we have no right to object.
Mary, I'm sorry for what my wife just did.
Thanks to George's warning, Barbara's silent. Now that we have received their approval, we move forward with the marriage. However, although Barbara gave her C, she still did not approve of me. My husband's family are landowners who are well known in the area. Barbara is very proud of this matter, as this is the kind of family he grew up in. He was spoiled, but he is not at all selfish. I actually really like his gentle, warm personality. However, many issues come up during our engagement. Barbara suddenly calls me over and introduces me to the woman of the neighborhood, saying I should get myself known. Apparently, due to her position as a landowner, Barbara is the representative of the women's community and seems to be the leader of the group. I do as I am told and greet everyone in the community. They all greet me back and whisper, "Good luck," in my ear. They are probably referring to Barbara. Apparently, those in the women's core are not very fond of her either. Finding out that I have allies, I am relieved. Barbara tells me to get a bridal checkup before the marriage and to find out whether I am capable of getting pregnant. I am a little taken aback by this seat, but it is true that I may become a sort of advanced age childbirth category. And to be honest, I don't want to know if I'm able to become pregnant. So I decide to take the test. I go to a clinic and the doctor told me that I am perfectly capable. Believing this means Barbara will all get married. I tell her the result, but she just says coldly, "Oh, real. You're the one who told me to take tests." I think angrily, but I hold. Maybe she was expecting a bad outcome. Did she think she could call off if she found out I couldn't have? I continue to spend restless days. 1. On the day before the wedding, Barb came over again. She wants us to come over and eat with her. To be honest, I wanted to have my own parents before the wedding, but they say if you've been invited to their house, you should go. So Kevin and I decide to go to his house. After we finish both dinner and dessert, we can watch a movie. Barbara starts to say about your Mick together. I couldn't believe my ears. The phrase moving in together came nowhere.
I don't mind if you move in with us after the wedding.
Apparently, in Barbara's mind, there doubt that we would live together. No way. She's got to be kidding. I couldn't have my life as a newlywed suddenly be interrupted. I swiftly stepped into the conversation.
What are you moving in? I don't know what to say. That's something to think about before we're even married.
With this, Barbara looks surprised. She looks at me as though I'm crazy.
Kevin, haven't you told her yet?
I panic and look at my husband. Then, remaining perfectly calm, I think I forgot.
What do you mean by that?
Mom and I have been talking about it while now, that we would move into this house once married.
Wait a second. You've never said any about this? Something this important? This is the sort of thing that we should discuss and decide together, agent.
Sorry, but it's decided. I want you to understand, Mary.
What is the difference between a web designer and a web developer?
Looking back, I should have called marriage off at this point. But this was 2 years ago, when I had turned 32. I felt that if I let this go, I would be able to get married again. Perhaps it was this impatience that down the wrong path. Well, he did propose to me, and I actually was excited at the thought of getting married. In the end, Ia agreed to live with Kay's parents. But my life there was worse than I imagined. First, there were hardly any. So it was impossible to have the lovely newlywed life that I had pictured. To add to this, Barbara would always pick on me.
Mary, you really do have a boring pea, don't you? Kevin has a beautiful face with a lovely nose, but I'm so worried about my grandchildren, just like you. Your cooking and housework are really amazing. It's a shame that your other strengths are not as a parent.
This sort of thing happens every day. And because she is the kind of woman who requests it, I check whether I can have children. You can imagine how she must have felt, asking when she could see her grandchildren.
Do you even know how old you are? You have no time left, you know. If you can't have a baby, there's no you in this house. You better give birth to a boy.
I'm shocked to see someone making such comments in this present day. But I shrug it off, thinking that they are probably rooted in tradition as landowners, after all. Barbara also nags me about my job, putting pressure on me and saying you're going to quit. I enjoy my job. And since I moved into this house, I have been granted special permission to use the UC. So I can't inconvenience them by quitting my job. That's the one thing I won't compromise on. So I just let it slide no matter what they say to me. But after a while, Barbara demanded that she be paid $1,000 a month if I got a job. In other words, she wants me to put into the house to cover my living at. Barbara hasn't asked Kevin to pay any living expenses, but I guess she's angry because she didn't get away with it, which is why she is making this request personally. Well, she had been letting me live free until then. So I agree and decide to pay her $106 a month.
Well, you're just an office worker. Take this much money.
You're not left with much to spend yourself, are you? She says with an annoying smile. Well, I'm not the type to spend much in the first place. I use things until they break, so my pretty simple. Barbara must have seen this, and thou's no money. But for me, this isn't particularly all. I'm much more stressed out by how she harasses me all the time. 2 years of life like this flies by. Now that I am 34, not only Barbara also says, "Why can't you have a baby? It's not my fault. It's all on me." I didn't expect my husband to say anything. I am shocked. Since then, he continues to torment me alongside Barbara. I thought we loved each other. 10 years, he's still not used to her. I think he has become somewhat bored. If it was just Barbara, I could live. I believe that I had built an amazing relationship with Kevin, so his betrayal hits me really hard. As time goes by, Kevin and Barbara's relationship becomes increasingly absurd. One day when I come home from work, I go to the living room, and there I see a woman besides my parents-in-law and my husband. She looks younger than Kevin, maybe in her mid-20s. I wonder who she is. Barbara tells me to sit down. Once I take a seat, she suddenly said something unbelievable. When I ask her this, my mother-in-law annoyed.
What do you mean by my time is up?
I don't expect you'll be able to have children anymore, will you? That's why this young lady is going to be a son's new wife. She's 23 years old now, and she's the daughter of one of our neighbors in the women's community. She's prettier than you, and I'm sure she will give birth to a cute and healthy baby.
What a woman. My husband and I are still married. Brings along a new wife. Kevin will surely object to this. That's what I thought, but I was wrong.
That's why I want you to fill this soon as possible. He says,
While handing me the divorce papers. I am beyond shocked. I can't believe it. Is having a child that important? My life will be ruined if I stay with these people. By the way, George, my father-in-law made a warning to Barbara before their marriage. He's been useless since then. He has never tried to get involved these issues since we got married. I say, and I fill in everything necessary to get divorced. Barbara and Kevin are thrilled. I tell them we won't be going through property division.
Of course not. Why would Kevin give of his precious savings?
that's right. Just because you've been relying on my income doesn't mean I owe you anything. Don't mean you can get carried away with it.
I don't know what they're thinking is what Barbara and Kevin say to me. Okay, I hope neither of you finds out the truth. As simply as this, Kevin and I get. I packed up my belongings and headed back to my parents' house, where they were both waiting. I explained the situation, and they understand that it's right of me to get a refund. They are a little angry that I didn't do it earlier. After apologizing to my parents, I look for an apartment where I can myself. I search for a place near the office. There are so many good options, it's hard for me to make a decision. A month passes after my divorce with Kevin and Barbara arrived at their parents' house.
Mary, what is going on?
What are you doing here? I'm the one who wants to know what's going on.
It's this.
Kevin shows me the photo he took of. There I am answering an interview. On the screen, they are showing the restaurant with my name next to it and the word owner written on the...
Why? How on earth are you the owner of a restaurant? You are just an office worker, right?
Oh, you saw the show yesterday. The office work is just for experience, for opportunities in the future. As for the restaurant, we've been managing a restaurant that was founded by my great-grandfather's generation. My dad opened a new place 5 years ago. I'm a former teacher, and I've been the owner of this business ever since. After I graduated from college, I went to a nighttime culinary school and got my chef's license. So I worked at the office in the evening and on weekends.
Was a cook at my father's restaurant.
At the moment, I am preparing for a new business. So I leave the restaurant mostly up manager, but they wanted to interview me, so I took the offer.
Barbara and Kevin are shocked to hear story. Well, they would be, wouldn't they? When Kevin's parents met my parents for the first time, my father told them about a restaurant, but they probably thought it was just dinner. Barbara just said, "Oh, really?" And didn't seem to care any more than.
This is perfect. I didn't think you were earning so much, but it's perfect for us.
I'm cancelling the divorce. Come back right now.
As Barbara and Kevin are making these incomprehensible statements, I ask, it seems the young girl who became new wife does none of the housework. She doesn't go out to work either. She's always there at home, doing nothing. She even calls Kevin old man. and tells him if he wants to be in there and if they're going to have chat, she wants him to pay her. If he does anything to her by force, she's going to call the police. Kevin and Barbara look troubled. They further explain that the girl unemployed since graduating from him, and her parents didn't know what to do with her. That's when the womenist community to her family, telling them about a crazy man who's looking for a bride. This is how they introduced her, Barbara Streisand. Hearing this story makes me laugh. Barbara was not a leader at all. She was completely being made fun of. Learning that the women of the commune thought she was dumb. Barbara seems truly embarrassed. That's why she wants me to come back as soon as possible, so that I may defend her and restore her position and reputation. As for my ex-husband, because his parasite of a wife uses all of his money as she wishes, he's living a tight life every month. And because she won't do the housework, of course she won't make lunch for him. So he has to spend a little money every day to buy lunch near his office. As for George, Kevin's father, who minding his own business, he left Kevin and Barbara quite a bit of money and rented a cheap apartment on his own. He's living his own little life away from them. This sounds like just the sort of thing George would do, and it makes me chuckle.
We're having a really rough time. I come home?
Kevin begs me. I try to stop myself from laughing these final words to him.
You do know this is all your own fault, right? You two ordered me to leave and bring a girl into your house. So why don't you be responsible for everything that happened after that? If you stay here any longer, I'm police.
Rejected, Kevin and Barbara droop thee and leave my parents' house. I don't know what happened to them but according to a lady from the community that I befriended while I was married, it seems that life is so tough for them that even Barbara has started part-time work. Kevin's new wife is still doing nothing except spending all her husband's money. They tried to make her leave, but ways to keep staying at their house. And it seems that both Kevin and Barbara were completely exhausted. Serves them right. I finally find a new apartment and the room of my dreams. Single life is so pleasant that I feel like I don't need to get any more. But I still want to find romance, so I'm going to keep seeing what happens in my future. For now, I'm more focused on my work. Kevin and Barbara are unbelievable. Kevin didn't even know his wife's name. He really had no interest in her. Maybe he only married her because he wanted a wife who could have children and would listen to his mother. In any case, I'm glad to hear that nothing to do with this stupid mother anymore. I hope she lives her own life and own happiness. Thanks for sticking around until Please subscribe to our channel if you enjoyed this video, and see you in the next one.